You know how people spend 40 hours a week just on their work stuff? Well, I have just spent 40 hours this week building up everything that has been in my head for some time. And I wanted to share the story of this. It costs me about 2000 USD. So the thing started because I personally archive my outfits anyway. And I archive my outfits and I link them to specific garments that I have. So for example, this is the Comme des Garçons t-shirt. So I write them down. Then I also do more research. Who are they, how to care for them, and all of that kind of stuff. So this is something that evolved over the last little bit more than 2 years because I realized the things I have are really beautiful and I cannot find any information like that online. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to be writing that database myself. And then it it slowly started to I started to add a little bit more things here and there, all manual. And then AI came about. So I tried using AI to experiment a little bit here and there, but nothing really stick with me. And suddenly I started so it started last weekend because I had to go and fix um some AI issue because Anthropic changed their entire system. So I started to use Anthropic or Claude Code to work instead of using OpenClaw. And wow, my mind is completely blown. It's anything that I can imagine, I could now build and create them. And that's the thing that ticked. So that's one thing that ticked, which is what I've been spending a lot of my time on this week. Last week was, which is the second issue, basically the trigger point, which is how this cost 2000 USD. And in hindsight, it's actually okay. So it started because I found a little bit more than $2,000 in my PayPal account. And I could put it back to my bank account, but because I have a USD denominated bank account, PayPal would, but I am based in Singapore, PayPal would not transfer USD to USD. It needs to be from USD to SGD and then into my bank. And I'm not interested in that. So the solution is, well, we have a little bit more than 2000 to spend. Let's go shopping. And so shopped I did. I spent the last 2 weeks pretty much just shopping a lot. And I bought quite a lot of things, like too many things, I would say. I um I started to I started with, okay, what can we buy? And I bought a couple of things. Then the second thing became, the first thing was, what can we buy that's good quality because I have a good amount of money to spend. Then the second thing became, oh, let's look for under the radar things that are hard to find. And I bought a bunch of them. And then the third one was, oh, let's look for things I've always been trying to explore. And now I've got some money to go and buy them. Why don't I go and buy them? And then I can really learn and experience the quality and the education that I've been having. So I've got I've got education. I learn a lot about these brands of material or fiber. Then I have experience just watching people's reviews. I'm going to shops, touch them. Oh no, then I have exposure. Go watching people's reviews, go to the shops and touch them. And lastly, I do want an experience. I want to experience how it feels on my skin. I want to wear them. I want to use them. I want to experience them. So a bulk of the things that I purchased were under this experimental category. And to me, I think this $2,000 is, it's a little bit, it's quite a lot more than $2,000. But anyway, the point is that I wanted to use this as a way to educate myself, to be, to gain experience for certain kind of material. And of course, everything I do is just the finer things in life. So I did that. And then lastly, which is the last couple of days, I started to go deep down. Started to go deep down into exotics, into really, really hard to find, very rare things. And of course, I spend more than the budget that I have. Of course, there's so many things to buy. And then I know I needed to stop. But in this entire process, I've been documenting a lot of things. Just and because when I document, I put the pictures in there, I put the descriptions, all of that, and it's quite laborious. So I wanted AI to just automate it. And then I started using AI more and I realized, oh my goodness, this is amazing. And it just kind of snowballed. So I decided, hey, I'm just doing a lot of these things and it's really, really cool because this is where I go into details about my analysis, my wardrobe analysis, my outfit analysis, my pieces analysis, and I start to archive a lot more about the heritage of the items. And I have been doing this already, but it has just evolved now. So I figured, okay, well, let's keep going a step further, a step further, a step further to see how far this can go. And so I started to create a lot more databases that all links together as part of the back end archiving. And it's really beautiful. There's so much information about me, my style, my identity that I could use this in a lot of other ways. The commercial way, let's put it that way. So I started with maybe just 10 databases roughly. And now it has gotten to about maybe 20 to 25 databases all linked together, just being archived at the back end. What I wanted to do then is in 3 or 4 folds. The first one is that I do want to share a bit more. I do want to share about my pieces, my archive, my story. Well, you can think of it as personal branding, but this is a hobby. I want to think of this as personal branding. I want to share all of these things, not to gain following. That's do not care about that. But there's so much information out there that is out there, but there's also a lot of information that's just not available. So, for example, I've got an archive piece from APC from their summer 1998 collection. Beautiful piece of garment. Extremely high quality, classic silhouettes. It's everything I'm looking for. It's heritage, it's high quality, it's classic and timeless. I love everything about that. But I can't find any information about that online. So I decided, well, let's start archiving these things just for me to reference back anyway. But that also started to grow into, okay, what if I start sharing this with people? Not to promote myself or anything, but just to share what good quality is, what heritage, what timelessness is. And so I'm figuring out how that works. And for example, I've started to use Substack and start to share a lot more stuff on Substack, just on fashion itself. The second thing then is, I know I've said this a lot of times, but I think my position might be changing because I have a lot more things now. I have a beautiful, perfectly curated wardrobe. I will not change that for anything in the entire world. At the same time, I'm just buying a lot of things, a lot of things. And the more I dive deep into things, the more it uncovers a whole new world that I've never been exposed to. So things like different brands, different mills. Because when I look at cashmere and I look at merino wool, I don't just look at the brand and the piece of fabric. I go deep into the fiber, how the fiber is woven and turned into fabric to make the piece. So dive deep into mills as well. I look at silk, I look at the heritage, I look at the history of how silk is made, how they preserve it till today, and understand more, just going back down the value chain. Where's the silk coming from? How the silk is being manufactured? How the dye is being created? And oh my gosh, tanneries are a different thing. I've done go deep into tanneries, vegetable tan, different kind of tans, and it's a whole new world. Anyway, I'm just documenting all of these things as I go. And but I'm also buying a lot more things as I go because the documentation part is part of education. Watching, learning online is part of exposure. But lastly, I do want to experience it for myself. So I purchase these items. So for example, I have a Loro Piana baby cashmere jumper that's coming and I'm so excited. This is like my dream come true. Yeah, I feel like a little girl and this is everything I want for Christmas. I'm really excited about that. And yes, and that is why I spent, like, the trigger point was $2,000, but it cost a lot more. And I'm stopping now. I'm not buying anything now because my education budget is going over. It's going way over my education budget. So I'm stop, finish, nada. The thing is, as I'm adding more stuff into my wardrobe, I do need to offload some things. And I know initially my plan was never to sell any of my things because my wardrobe is perfect. Why would I sell anything? Everything is me. I don't want to sell it. I don't want to it's unique. It took me so long to collect these items and then add into its chapter, into its history. It took me an insane amount of time to curate, to understand the craft, to validate, to test, and to sell it feels like a stab in your stomach. And it's like, I'm sorry, I don't want to do this, but I do need to make more space in my wardrobe. I don't want to be a person that, which a friend has, her house, the attic is just all her clothes. And I don't want to be someone like that. I don't want to hoard my things because, again, my goal is to wear the item 30 times at the very least. And I want to put a new condition. I want to wear my clothes 30 times in the next 18 months. So, or the first 18 months that I get them. So I do want to wear my clothes. I want to make sure that they are used. But if I have a lot of clothes and there's only 365 days a year, I can only change so many times a day to wear all my pieces. So unfortunately, it means that I have to sell them. So just coming back, and then I was asking AI to build a website for me so that I can be selling my things. And ooh, game changing, game changing. And so I'm very excited about it because my goal is not, my goal is to share these pieces with the world. Is to share, to allow someone else to add chapters into a piece of garment or a bag that I have that has chapters in its life already. And you can call it sustainable fashion, you can call it, recycling. To me, every piece is a story to tell. Every piece is timeless. It's a heritage that is embodied within the piece. And it's not just about it's not just about this existence of the item, right? It's the pursuit of permanence. It's the exact opposite of fast fashion, actually. Fast and permanent is the exact opposite. And I'm archiving, I'm collecting, I'm a big collector of these timeless heritage permanent pieces. And I think the pursuit of permanence is my entire life. And I do want to share these pieces, selected pieces, not all of them. Do want to share these selected pieces with the rest of the world or people who care about it. So it's I'm I'm really conflicted because I really, really love my items. I really love them. They are, you know, they carry lineage. They carry the craft person's hands and eyes and the skills that they have spent their entire life crafting. It's an atelier with a method. It's the heritage. It's the house or the maison that understands the pieces that's being made, the craft, the item, the object, the garment, the bag that outlives trends. So it's just, I love the things that I have. I cannot emphasize this enough. I just love the things that I have. It's not just, yeah, I think the way I would express it is a savoir faire. Like it's a I don't know, also like to use the word je ne sais quoi. It's a feel to it. It's the intangible that I have purchased, or the intangible that has now been a tangible garment, bag, coat, whatever. I love that. I love that. And okay, I need to stop talking about this because that's not the point of the video. But I love this. I love this so much. And yes, I think I will. So I've set up a website and I'm going to sell some of my pieces for limited time only. And then the other thing is that through speaking with my I decided I want to start engaging more in conversations because everything I'm doing is just speaking with my AI. And this is where I've decided I'm going to yeah, I want to be more actively participating in conversations online. But I'm not someone who uses the traditional social media like Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. So I don't want to be there. And so I guess Substack is the way to go. And I'll see other more curated forums as I go. And yeah, I don't know how this will evolve. I have already spent a normal amount of people's working day on this little side project, which I completely enjoy, by the way. Love, love, love it. I'm going to keep developing and evolving as it goes. But I'm really excited to see where this is going because I love the pieces that I have. I think this is the conclusion of this video. The more I document, the more I'm falling in love deeply with every piece of item. Because yes, they entered my closet initially for the craft, for the heritage, for the timelessness, for the silhouette. But they're staying because it has a chapter before it came into my closet, like from my mom or my auntie, or a reason why I bought it. And then it's continuously staying in my closet year after year. Because I'm adding my own stories and adding my own chapters to it. And I don't want to part with it, but I also need to make space in my wardrobe, and I don't want to buy a bigger place just to have a place for my wardrobe because it's not about collecting for the sake of collecting. It's about using it and making sure not making sure, just having it being permanently in my life, not just as I can see that as a museum thing, but I get to use it. That's just that's just a luxury, and I'm very grateful for that. So yes, that's a long story short. This is what I've been up to on this side of my life.